Cool. So let's move into our Sunday preview. Looking forward to it. It's been a lot of great matchups already through 3 weeks, and now we're headed into the lineup, right? Your picks are doing good overall. I think I saw 45% on the spread.
Still pretty good. Yeah, not bad. I mean, we want to be over that 50 ultimately, but that's still pretty good, especially the way the league has started out this year. I think a lot of people are under their numbers where they'd like to be, but that's just under.
Yep.
And as we've said with my big bets, my pick sixes, that my record there is actually much, much better. So I know which games have been tougher to call, I guess, is the story there. Yeah.
Right, and I got the stats here. So if you're 45% currently against the spread, last year you finished 49% overall.
That's pretty good, yeah.
I am 25% right now. But last year I finished 56%. Okay. So I am in a little, bad spot right now with my picks. I got to climb out of it.
So just so we're saying, that's the picks for every game, every day,
every game against the
all
spread.
Season long. Yes,
it does not include the over and under.
Right.
So not bad. But yeah, let's get into it here. We talked about Thursday night. So how about the Jacksonville Jaguars headed to Philadelphia? Philadelphia's favored by 6.5.
Mm-hmm. Well, you just got done hyping up the Jaguars offense again and how good they look. But here they run into the buzzsaw, one of the teams that looks like the best in the NFL right now, the Philadelphia Eagles, who are clicking on offense and defense. And because of that, I'm taking Philly minus 6.5 in this game. I trust their offense. I trust their coaching. I trust their team, and they're playing at home. This is another victory for the Eagles, I think, and probably by a touchdown or more. So that minus 6.5 line doesn't scare me either against the Jaguars. But that being said, the Jaguars could make a statement here if they win the game, certainly. But even if they keep it close, I think that would show that they are a team to be reckoned with and taken seriously, and not one to kind of write off as in years past.
Right, yeah. I like the matchup, for Philadelphia. But we really don't know what this Jaguars team is, right? They're kind of having identity issues. Are they good? Yeah. I think they're right there with, not Indianapolis, but Tennessee to win the division, so far through 3 weeks, which is not a lot. But I just think Jacksonville can do it all, but also Philadelphia can do it all, right? So this is going to be a really good matchup. I just like Philadelphia's experience, right? Jaguars are kind of feeling out this new body, right? But the Eagles have been here. They've played in big games. I like the Eagles roster in this one. So I took the Eagles with the points, and then over on the 47.
Yes, I'm over as well. I think that both of these offenses will get scoring, even though they both have played good defense so far on the year. It's just 47 seems too low for what the playmakers on offense for these two teams can do. And I expect a lot from this matchup of Jalen Hurts versus the number one touchdown Jesus flowing hair. So I mean, I do think that Hurts will get the best of him, but it's going to be a good matchup.
The number, I can't remember our power rankings, 3 or 4 ranked quarterback in the league, Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, seems legit. And let's move on to the next one here. We have Minnesota minus 2.5 at New Orleans. Over under set at 43.5. We've been seeing Jameis Winston continues to be the story. He's going to be the story for me until he can fix these interceptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not completing, they're not scoring in enough drives because these turnovers are killing them, right? And I think Minnesota's very balanced. They can do a lot of things really well. And I just like the matchup for Minnesota because they can do it all, right? And they can play good football where they don't turn it over. They seem disciplined. And I like their defense too. So I took Minnesota in this one under 43.5.
Okay. I also am taking Minnesota. And I think the biggest difference between these two teams for me is how you deal with adversity, right? The Vikings have shown that they can deal with this. They're an experienced team. They know what to do in situations when they're down in a game that doesn't get them down. When they lose a game, it doesn't get them down. They're able to rebound. The Saints are kind of the opposite in a sense, where once they lost a game or once they're down in a game, they're kind of in panic mode. That puts Jameis Winston in a worse spot to, be prone to making more mistakes. And for that reason is why I'm taking the Vikings to win this game and win it by more than 2.5. So I'll take Vikings -2.5. And I expect that this could be a bigger victory for them, maybe a 10-point victory, even though it's at New Orleans. And I'm taking the over on this game. I do think the New Orleans offense can score and put up points. So even if they get 24 to 34, that's well over 43.5 at the under or the over under points. So yeah, give me the Vikings, give me the over. I like this game.
Okay, yeah, I like that one too. All right, let's move on to the Jets +3 traveling to Pittsburgh. Everyone's screaming for Kenny Pickett. Zach Wilson now enters the league here in week 4. Over under set at 41.5. I'm going Pittsburgh just because I think Trubisky's been getting a lot of crap in the media. And this is what happens to these bridge quarterbacks. They're calling for Kenny. The fans are calling for Kenny. But he's got to come out and play well, right? And this is the time to do that. The Jets, I mean, we saw the defensive lineman, Quentin Williams, yelling at the defensive coach. Must have been a defensive line coach. You don't like to see that stuff this early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's a little disruptive, but now Zach Wilson enters, and Zach Wilson's more than capable of coming in. I'm excited to watch him.
Right.
Because the guy, he has all the traits, right? I would love to see him put it together. I just think from a fan's perspective, he could be one of the best quarterbacks because he has the physical ability, and it's just easier. Can he pick up the cognitive stuff? That's what we're looking for.
Yes.
But you're not going to see that here in week 4 out the gate, right?
And can he stay healthy? That's a bigger question. I agree. I actually think that this entire game does not go through Trubisky, but through Zach Wilson. If he starts, making mistakes because this is his first game back and throwing interceptions, then that's going to favor the Steelers, obviously. But I also think that he is capable of connecting with these young weapons that he has, using his run game, being able to be dynamic in that offense more so than a Joe Flacco, and make a few explosive plays. And that could be the difference in this one. So I think it goes through Zach Wilson. However, I'm giving the edge to the Steelers. I think the Steelers win the game because their coach, always has them ready to play, level-headed. They're always competitive in games. I think that with Trubisky and that offense, they're going to score just enough to beat the Jets. I'm actually taking the Jets +3, but I believe that the Steelers will win the game. So by a field goal or less, I'll take the Steelers to win, but I'll take the Jets +3, and I'm taking the under with this game. I do not believe it's going to be a very high-scoring affair for either team, just because of the return and the fact that the Steelers have a good defense. Even if Zach Wilson was playing a really good game, they're probably not going to score, their maximum number of points that offense is capable of in this game. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this one.
You're taking the Jets.
Well, I believe the Steelers will win, but I'm taking the Jets with the points. Yes.
I see. So you think the Steelers win by 3?
Steelers win by less than 3. Yeah, 3 or less. Yes, basically. Field goal or less.
That's confident. I'm going to keep an eye on that one because I just don't see it. Zach Wilson entering the league here in week 4. Look, Steelers can run the football too. Anyway, I'll talk to you Sunday. All right, Cleveland -1.5 at Atlanta. Cleveland now 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to survive until Deshaun Watson gets back, and then we'll see how far they can go. Over under set at 48.5 here. What's your thoughts on Cleveland at Atlanta?
Newsflash, Cleveland Browns are a good team. I keep telling people this from week 1. Like, look at this roster. They're a good roster. And as long as they continue to run the ball with Nick Chubb and continue to only let Jacoby Brissett do what he has to do, not put him into a corner where he's got to be throwing 50 times a game, but just let him. And exactly, the emergence of this run game, just give the ball to Chubb, keep giving it to Chubb.
Well, Kareem
and
Hunt
sure, you can use Kareem Hunt in there as well, but Chubb is where the offense goes. When Chubb has a good game, they win games. When they try to give it to somebody else or put it on somebody else's shoulders, they start to fall behind a little. Let Nick Chubb do Nick Chubb things. Then you supplement with Kareem Hunt and sure, sprinkle him in there to keep him, fresh and all of that. And again, that opens things up for Amari Cooper with Jacoby Brissett to be able to make big plays. So do not sleep on this Browns team. Everybody knows I'm high on the Falcons. I love their offense. I love Kyle Pitts. I think they're doing things right this year. They're going to be competitive in games, but I think this is one where they're just outmatched in general. So give me Cleveland to win and by well more than 1.5. So I'll take Cleveland and Cleveland minus 1.5. So I think they win it by at least a touchdown, if not 10 points or more.
Yeah, and I like Cleveland as well. I mean, they're ground and pound, right? And that's what they're doing. You know, they lead the league in rushing. They lead the league in yards per game. Only one fumble on the year. Atlanta, another rushing team, though. You know, they're right there. You know, yards per game on the ground, they're 5th, but 7 fumbles on the season.
Big time.
Big difference there. I just like Cleveland with this matchup.
Yes, and their defense, Cleveland's defense is good. They're really good.
And let's not forget about Amari Cooper, right?
Yeah, he's done really well for them as well.
He's a piece. He's huge for the Browns, right? I'm really excited to see what Deshaun Watson can do in coming back. But Brissett, like you said, holding it down. Don't ask him to do a lot. Run the ball first, and you'll win games. Hopefully Myles Garrett comes back healthy after his car accident. Hopefully he's okay.
Yes.
If he needs a week, that's fine. But he's a disruptive player, and he does a lot for this team. So prayers for him. But hopefully he can get back on the field and they can, win me some money, right? So I'm taking Cleveland and stay consistent here. I'm going under on the 48.5.
Yeah, I'm actually taking the under as well here. I think that it's close. That could be a high, it could end up being 28-20, something like that. I could see, and it gets close, but I'm still taking the under.
All right, cool. All right, on to the next one here. We got Chicago, the passless Chicago Bears at the 2-1 New York Giants. Could argue they're passless too after that game on Monday. But what do you think about this one? What's your first thoughts?
My first thought is this is the overreaction bowl right here, right? They both are 2-1, and neither one of these teams should be 2-1. But one of them is going to end up being 3-1, barring some crazy tie situation. But I do think one of these teams is going to end up 3-1. Which team is the question here, right? If you ask me which of these teams has the advantage, which of these teams looks better on paper, which of these teams do you think will win, I got to take Chicago. Obviously my confidence isn't high in this game. I'm not betting a lot on this one for sure. But I'll take Chicago getting points. I think they win the game. So getting points, I like that situation. And I'll take the under with the 39.5 too. I don't think either of these offenses really gets moving against each other here. The Bears defense is a little bit better, I think, than what the Giants have put up on offense, but I'd give the Giants the edge on offense versus the Bears offense at this point, although the Bears running game came on pretty strong, and we know that that's what they like to do is pound the rock. So give me the Bears +3 and the under.
Yeah, this one's tough for me because really these teams have they're trying to accomplish the same things, right? They're 30th. The Giants are 30th in passing offense. The Bears are 32nd. Yeah, the Giants are 4th in rushing yards on the season. The Bears are 2nd. So, it really comes down to the defense here. I like Roquan Smith and company on defense, so I'm taking the Bears in a close one. But I'm definitely doing under on 39.5. I think this is a 13-10 game. And, I would not put money on this one, but I got to pick somebody. I like the Bears because of what Justin Fields can do on the ground. I think he's a difference maker in that area. Daniel Jones, we see a good throw from him here and there, but the receivers drop it. They just don't seem like they're on the same page.
Yeah, and they just lost.
Could see a bounce back in that arena as well.
They did lose Sterling Shepard again for the season.
Did see that?
ACL.
Yes. Yeah, that's tough for sure. But I mean, the Giants have weapons. I just don't understand.
Yeah,
they cannot pass the football. I just don't understand it.
Either way, one of these teams is going to be 3-1 and feeling really good about themselves with a really bad team, basically.
For sure. And Chicago's like, we suck at passing the ball. We're not doing it anymore.
Yeah,
so I'll go with that. Let's just know who you are.
Run the ball always.
Yeah. So give me Chicago. All right. Move on to the next one here. We got the Rams +2.5 at the San Francisco 49ers. Who do you like?
This one is very puzzling to me that the Rams are getting points. Yes, it's in San Francisco. Yes, it's been a difficult place for them to play. But to me, the Rams should be the favorite in this game, especially after the stinker of a game we saw from the 49ers. So I'm taking the Rams here. I expect them to continue doing what they've been doing this season, which is, not lighting people up, but doing what they need to do to come out with the victory. And in this case, when you're getting points, if you can win the game, that's an easy bet. So I really like this bet. I really like this game. Give me the Rams plus 2.5 all the way. The 49ers have a lot to prove. Maybe they could get back on track this game. Maybe the good Jimmy G shows up, whatever that means. But I just don't see it happening against Aaron Donald and company. So give me the Rams all the way in this one. And I'm taking the under for the points at 41.5 as well.
I'm going the 49ers in this one because it is a bounce back league. And that game against the Broncos was painful to say the least. The 49ers are better than that. They know they're better than that. They've been criticized all week. We all saw the Jimmy G stomps on racism memes, right? For the safety, but I expect better from the 49ers, not to mention the envy. Right, they're envious that the Rams won the Super Bowl. They were in the playoffs.
One of their biggest rivals. Yeah,
they played well in the playoffs. So I'll go San Francisco at home. I say double-digit win here by 10.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, I like it.
Definitely our biggest disagreement.
Going over on the 41.5.
It didn't work well for you picking against the Rams last week, Eric. Just a reminder.
Someone's got to do it, but I mean, the Cardinals, man. Don't get me started.
All right. So you're taking the over too. All right. So we disagree across the board here. Yeah. I like it.
So we'll pay attention to that one for sure. All right. Let's see what we got next here. We got the Commanders at the Cooper Rush led Dallas Cowboys. 2-0 as a starter. +3 for the Commanders.
Yeah. Something about this game screams upset alert to me. I'm worried looking just at the immediate thought that, okay, Dallas looks really good. Dallas should get the win here. I'm picking Dallas. I'm picking Dallas -3. I think they should definitely win by 6 or more points in this one. At Washington can stay in the game. They have potent offensive weapons. So I guess that's why I'm a little worried about the threat that maybe Washington upsets them now that everybody thinks Dallas is great with Cooper Rush at quarterback. Assuming he is still the quarterback and Dak isn't ready to come back because there is some rumor that Dak could come back this week. But I don't expect that. I think it'll still be Cooper Rush. And I think that if Dallas does what they can do defensively, offensively with their weapons, they should be a better team all around than Washington Commanders are right now. And that's ultimately what it comes down to for me. But I'm not putting a lot of money on this one because I'm worried about the scary upset alert here.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb is the difference maker for the Cowboys. He looked great on the Monday night game.
Yes.
The running backs look good as advertised, and Micah Parsons is on a different level, right?
Yeah. Human. Yeah.
But again, there's two teams this year I can't get off, and it's the Commanders and the Panthers. I just can't get off them. I don't know what it is. And so I hate to do this, but I'm taking the Commanders.
Okay, there you go. I like it.
It hurts me, but they're better than what they've played, in my opinion. If they can play a full game, every single game, they take a half off. Can I just get 3 quarters? They're a good team if they can play 3 quarters of football. And again, I think they got embarrassed last week. I do believe it's a bounce back league. So I'm taking the Commanders in the upset. I guess it's an upset.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And going under on 41.5.
Okay, I'm taking the under as well on this game. I just don't think either offense is explosive enough to reach that point.
All right, so that's the Commanders. Let's move on to the next one here. We have the Los Angeles Chargers -5 at Houston. Tough one here.
2 teams coming in opposite directions. The Chargers just hit rock bottom. You got your butts blown out by Jacksonville. And the Texans just played a great game and didn't ultimately get their win, but they showed up and they balled out, and people are respecting them a little more here. However, I do think that ultimately this comes down to players, the roster, and this is kind of a wake-up call game, similar to what I said about the Bengals on the Thursday night game. I think that's going to happen here with the Chargers. They're going to play a game at the level of, okay, we need to show we're competitors. We need to come out and show people why we were guessed to be one of the best defenses, the best offenses, and play a well-rounded pick-me-up kind of game. So I'll take the Chargers -5 in this one. I still expect Houston to move the ball and score points, though. But ultimately, I think the Chargers win by a touchdown. and that'll cover the spread. So give me the Chargers -5.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look into what went wrong for the Chargers last week. Yeah,
Everything.
I still want to do that. Just haven't had the time. But man, they got embarrassed by Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And expectations are super high for the Chargers, right? They're 1-2 now. And we're wondering, you got to get this together. If you go 1-3 and lose to Houston, you're in big trouble.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Right? It sounds crazy this early in the season, but it's true. 1-3 is not a good look for that team. And so I take the Chargers here. The pressure's on for them. The Broncos are 2-1. They're 1-2. It's hard to believe, but that's how the NFL works, right?
Yeah.
Chargers are, I think, much better than the Broncos. They know that too. So I expect them to bounce back this week and put up 30 points. Let's say they blow out the Texans. I like that.
So you're taking the over?
I'm taking the over, yes.
I'm taking the over as well. I just think this is another game that ends up in the 28-20 range. So I'll take the Chargers there and over.
Yep, I take the Chargers in a little bit of desperation win here. A little bit. All right, let's move on to some other desperate teams here. We got the Tennessee Titans +3.5 at the Indianapolis Colts. This is it, right, for the division.
Yeah, I mean, this is another game. Talk about competitive. It's always tough when these two divisional rival teams meet. And the last few years, you're talking who's going to win the division based on this game. And certainly this is one to circle on the schedule this year, especially when they're both only coming in with one victory in week 4. So who's going to win the division? Well, who's going to stay in the contest for the division? I think it is definitely going to be a close game. So I like Tennessee with the points +3.5. I'm not sure who's going to win this game, but I'm picking Tennessee. So I think it'll be close, but Tennessee with the points for sure. I like that bet. Tennessee to win the game. Okay, money line, I'm a little more unsure about. And I'll go ahead and take the under 42.5. I don't think either offense has shown that they're capable of consistently scoring 20 points. And both teams, or at least India, has shown strong on defense, and Tennessee able to hold their opponents to lower points, if you count out the Bills game anyway. So I think this is going to be one of the games of the week, and not a huge game to bet on if you're unsure of the outcome. But yeah, that's where I stand. I'm taking Tennessee to win and +3.5.
Yep, we're in agreement. So I took the exact same thing. Tennessee and you took the under?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I took the under too. But yeah, the Colts though, this could be the game where they start to turn it around, right? Start to get some more respect. True. If you knock off Kansas City and now Tennessee, okay, they're back, right? We're all going to say that. So a big opportunity for them. And this could go either way. I'm trying to think of good reasons why I picked Tennessee. And really, I just think they got back to their identity last week, and the Colts win was kind of a fluke. Right?
Mistake. Yeah.
Give the ball to Derrick Henry. He needs 200 all-purpose yards. But then again, Jonathan Taylor could do the same thing on the other side.
So close.
This game's going to be a good one. It's going to be close. I just like Tennessee with the points. All right, so we're in agreement on that one. I can't remember who we pick for the division. We'll have to go back and look.
Yeah, we will.
I think I took the Colts. But anyway, keep that going. All right, Seattle +4 at Detroit. Another good matchup for the week. Let's start with Detroit. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a team. So I think this isn't two teams trending in the opposite direction. Seattle is in the process of falling down to their rock bottom, and the Lions are crawling their way back, roaring their way back to being a competitive team in this league. And ultimately, that puts the ball in my favor for the Detroit Lions. I think that they're playing the better football. They've been in more competitive games against much better competition than Seattle has to this point. So I think Seattle's just gotten, the fluke win against the Broncos to open the season. And right now we're not even sure what the Broncos are. And the Lions have consistently been competitive in games, consistently been down to the last minute, and just lost out to teams that just happen to be better than them. In this case, I actually think the Lions have the better roster overall, the better defense, the better offense, including their quarterback and weapons in there. Both have questionable quarterbacks. DK on the other side is a monster, obviously, but what Amon-Ra St. Brown has been able to do in his career so far is just absolutely exploding off the charts. So I like the Lions to win this game. I like the Lions -4. It's at home for Detroit. This is one of those games that they can celebrate for sure.
Yeah, I took the Lions as well and went under 50 or under the 48. And what's interesting to me is the Lions have more touchdowns on the season than the Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles, and the
amazing.
Dolphins. The only team with more touchdowns is the Baltimore Ravens.
Sure.
So,
but that tells you that they're giving up a lot of points. I took the over in this game because I think both teams have been giving up tons of points, and that's going to ultimately translate in the over.
But I just look at these teams and they want to. I mean, I'm not sure what Seattle's doing to be at schematically.
They don't know either.
They don't know either. I think they tried to be aggressive, but it didn't really work.
Yeah.
I mean, Geno Smith had over 300 yards.
Yeah, sure.
But I just think there's lots of identity issues going on there. So I'll take Detroit. You know, they're getting beat up for the bad call last week. I'm not even sure if that was a bad call, right? Dan Campbell decided to try the field goal instead of go for it on 4th and 1. It was a pretty long field goal. So, but the kicker's got to make that for your team. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that was a bad call. But anyway, they got criticized, so I think they bounced back in this one. And, yeah, Lions could be real, right? 2-2.
I wouldn't go that far just yet, but they're competitive and they're fun to watch.
Okay,
without a doubt, they're fun to watch, and they will be competitive in games. They're not going to get a lot of wins, but they will. This is one of them.
Yeah, want them to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're cheering for them. You're pulling for them.
Exactly. Always like good underdog. Anyway, let's move on to the next one here. We got Buffalo -3 at the Baltimore Ravens. Probably the game of the week.
Ooh, this is a fun one talking about quarterbacks, right? I mean, you got Josh Allen, MVP of the world right now, and Lamar Jackson, who has absolutely balled out for that contract money so far this year, right? And yes, this should be a good game. These are two really good teams. Certainly one Bills fans had circled going into the season as a competitive game. However, I think the difference here is that the Bills have a lot of players that should be returning from injury. They still have a lot of injuries, but they have, Jordan Poyer expected to be back. A few other guys. They've brought in Xavier Rhodes. I don't know if he'll be playing this week, but some veteran presence for that injured backfield. Dane Jackson returned to practice. Don't know if he's going to play this week. The status of some of their guys is improving, if nothing else, coming into this game. Whereas Baltimore's injuries on defense were of the bigger variety, out for the season, gone for the year. How are they going to adjust to that against a super potent offense like the Buffalo Bills, who can pick you to death? And Baltimore tends to play man defense. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to eat that up on the scoreboard. However, Baltimore's offense is also very good. One thing to remember that I keep coming back to with this game, the Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott showed people how to beat Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. They literally wrote the book on this. They were the first team to figure it out when Baltimore was rolling that Lamar Jackson MVP year. They ran into the Buffalo Bills. They still won the game, I believe the Ravens did, but the Bills contained that offense and contained Lamar Jackson. And I think we see more of the same from Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier defensively coming after Lamar Jackson, despite the way he has played so far this season. He'll pass the ball maybe a little more, and he's certainly been doing better at that. But I think his weapons are a little limited to say he's going to attack the Bills defense, and they contain him enough to win the game. So I'll take the Bills in -3. That was a lot of breakdown there.
Yeah. I'll go Bills as well. And this is not the same Lamar Jackson as 2 years ago.
You're
no
right.
way. This guy's playing lights out right now.
Well balanced.
Quarterback power rankings. I took him over Josh Allen right now, just because he's so dangerous on the ground. He's 4th in the league in rushing. But I mean, Josh Allen leaves every passing category. Simply, I don't want to bet against either of these guys. Honestly, the way they're playing right now, I don't even want to touch a bet that's against them. But got to pick somebody. I like Buffalo. It comes down to the minor details, right? And Buffalo's 61% on third down conversions, and we know they've had a ton of plays, right? So that tells me they can sustain drives, regardless of the circumstance. And that's a special thing to have, right? Yeah, 61%. The next closest is Philadelphia at 48.9%.
Yeah, and again, the Ravens defense, what are they going to do against this Bills offense? And you could say the same for the Bills defense, but I do think they're going to know how to contain Lamar Jackson, to keep him from running, to make him rely on his arm more. They're not going to shut him out, I don't think. But who's more likely in this game to score 40 points? It's definitely got to be the Buffalo Bills, between what you expect out of their offense and exploiting the defense versus the other way around. I'm taking the over in this game as well. I think 51.5 with both of these offenses clicking the way they are, there's going to be points on the board. And although I like the Bills, I'll take the over.
Yep, and I went over as well for that one. All right, going to be a fun matchup. Looking forward to it, right? All right, next one here is back to the NFC. We have the Arizona Cardinals plus 1.5 at Carolina. Over under set at 42.5.
Something tells me we're going to disagree on this one, Eric, because you got hosed on one end and one on the other here.
Let's see.
I'm taking the Cardinals. I think that the Cardinals, this is a bounce back game for them, where they kind of have to regroup and say, look, our backs are against the wall. We need to play our type of football and find a way to get these wins while Hopkins is out, because we know where we stand and we should be competing in the NFC. So I like that the Cardinals come in with a lot to prove, and Carolina coming off a victory, it might feel good about themselves and how they're playing, but I still think the Cardinals are the more mature, more experienced, better team right now. So give me the Cardinals with the points. I think this will be a close game, and I'm taking the under because I don't believe either team is going to be electric on offense. So give me the Cardinals and the under.
Yeah, funny thing is, I agree with you, and I thought we were going to disagree on this one.
Wow.
So I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I did too. You're going against Carolina, the team.
Going against Carolina. I might get off the wagon here. I'm not impressed with Baker Mayfield, and I've been trying to argue with you and be positive, but
it's hard when he sucks. I mean,
he's below 50%, and I think his game is to those short underneath passes. So I don't know what is going on there. Looks like they got back on track with CMC. But you can't run the ball every game and win, especially against Arizona. Is so pass heavy. If Arizona has a little bit of success in the passing game, I think they win this one. They're evenly matched defenses. I think they're level playing field there. I like Kyler Murray over Baker Mayfield. And when you have evenly matched teams, that's what you got to go with, right? And you were absolutely right that I think this is a bounce back game for Arizona. I think they wanted to win that one last year, but just didn't play well at all, really. So yeah, I think Carolina's riding high after their first win. Arizona's hungry. I'm taking Arizona in a close one, and going under on the 42.5.
Okay, so we agree. Crazy. I thought we were going to disagree on that one. We don't.
All right, let's move on to next one here. Make sure I get the right New England. There we go. New England plus 9.5 at Green Bay. That seems high.
It does.
And the over-under set at 40 points. Mac Jones out. I think I saw high ankle sprain. Might be out multiple weeks. But Brian Hoyer is not that different than Mac Jones. Let's get real.
Yes, they're both do what
Brian
you
Hoyer
can
play smart football. And I think this system might be more favorable for Brian Hoyer. Right? This offensive system
on the short pass
Mac
game.
Jones,
right.
This is not Tom Brady's offense anymore. Brian Hoyer, we've seen in previous offenses that were designed for Brady. I think this is a little more favorable for Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Brian Hoyer is a backup for a reason. He can't make the sweet passes that Mac Jones can make every once in a while to fit in a tight window in long range. Mac Jones isn't known for that, but he can certainly do that once in a while, a couple of game. And I don't expect Brian Hoyer to do that. That would be surprising to me. But they don't need to do that necessarily to maintain an offense. They're going to be running a ball a lot, which is what they do. And those short, quick screen passes and all those, short passes in between. So, however, Green Bay, I expect to win this game, hands down. They're going to win. And with a backup quarterback in, Green Bay should win this. However, 9.5 does jump off the page to me. Green Bay has not exactly gotten things going where they should be this elite favored team by 9.5, in my mind. Do they get things going? Do they win by a touchdown? Certainly. I think so. So give me New England with the points. Ugh, gross to even say that. Give me New England plus 9.5, but Green Bay to win the game for sure. And I'm taking the under in this one. I just don't believe either team's offense is potent enough, and both have a pretty good defense that's going to hold the other opponent. So I'll take the under.
Yeah, I like New England, especially with those points. Like the final score might be 9-0. You know what I mean? So it might the final score might be under 9.5. But I don't see this as a lopsided matchup. I mean, these teams are probably pretty evenly matched. I think Green Bay's defense is probably better, but Green Bay plays in the NFC. Competition's just lighter. That's just the facts.
Exactly.
New England gets, everyone's best effort. Everyone wants to beat Belichick. They've been trying to develop their offense. It's gotten better, but now they're set back. But I like their defense. They're both going to run the ball all day long. I take Belichick over Matt LaFleur here. Expect a close one. I'll say New England will win a close one over Green Bay. So New England with the win, obviously with the points, and then under on 40. We'll keep an eye on it. I know that hurts your soul, but I just don't see them being that different.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. Yeah.
Who's Green Bay going to turn to? Is it Romeo Dubes? Is that it?
He's the guy. Good so far. Lazard is the one who has the most chemistry with Rodgers, but yeah, Dubes looks like he's trending in the right way. That's a big win for me. But
these receivers for the Patriots, they've been playing pretty well. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Nothing to say about them.
Yeah. All right. I think we got 2 left here. The Broncos plus 2.5 at the 0-3 Las Vegas Raiders. What you got?
Well, the Raiders, the Broncos could not do anything right offensively, and they look lost. They are lost in the woods right now. Somewhere Russell Wilson is lost in the mountains, I should say, in Denver, right? They're out hiking somewhere. So the Raiders, with this 0-3 start, they desperately need a win. So they're going to throw everything they can in this game, and I ultimately think they get the victory. So give me the Raiders minus 2.5 in what should be a coasted, easy victory against the reeling Broncos right now, who don't really know what their identity is on offense, especially.
Yeah, we agree too much this week. I'm taking the Raiders as well. Look, Josh McDaniels had a meeting with the owner. They're the only 0-3 team in the league. Their offense is good enough to win games, right? Especially against this Broncos team who's having problems on offense. So I expect the Raiders to win this one handedly. I won't say a blowout, but handedly. Whatever that means. 10. Double digits.
Yes, I would agree. I think that's what they should do. They need a statement win here.
Yes, agree.
They need a bounce back victory.
You got the offensive roster for this. Let's see if Josh McDaniels can put it together. Come on. Let's see it. Taking the under on the 45.5. I just think Denver can't score.
Yeah, I'm going under as well for that same reason. Even if the Raiders put up 30, I mean, it's 30 to 10 again? Yeah, maybe.
Right. So
I'll take the under.
Yeah, Denver Broncos dead last in touchdowns. Let's check their points real quick. 31st in points per game at 14.3. Only team lower is the Indianapolis Colts,
who got shut out.
I think this is a good opportunity for the Raiders to get back on track, right? Nobody wants to be the only 0-3 team. You got to get a win eventually.
That's right.
And this team's not that bad. You know what I mean?
No, the roster's good.
We've seen 0-8 teams, 0-16 teams when we know they're probably not going to win any games.
Yeah, they're
I don't
terrible.
feel that way about the Raiders, though. I feel like they should be better than 0-3 at this point. They've lost a couple close ones. They fumbled the ball in overtime in one game against Arizona. So I just think the Raiders get this one. All right, let's move on to our last game of the week. I think the Monday night game we already did, but this is Kansas City -1 at Tampa Bay. Good matchup, right? Super Bowl rematch. These teams have changed a lot since that Super Bowl.
Absolutely. And I am picking Kansas City in this one, -1. I think they'll win. This is pretty much a pick 'em, obviously, right? So Kansas City, I think after the game they had against Indy, they are going to really look themselves in the mirror and come back strong. Tampa Bay right now is at a point where they're coasting, right? They're just kind of waiting to get healthy, to get everybody back, and then attack in that NFC. The AFC is much more competitive. That division is much more competitive for Kansas City. They desperately need this win. Tampa Bay, like I said, although they're going to be competitive, although this is going to be a close game, I think that the loss doesn't really hurt them here. And this game, although Tampa Bay is the home team is expected to be moved out of Tampa Bay because of the hurricane situation right now. And if that's the case, you lose that home field advantage, quote unquote, and it becomes an even playing field. And I just think Kansas City will take advantage of that as well.
Okay, yeah, we're in agreement again. I think Kansas City gets the win here. I think Kansas City puts up 30. And I know Tampa Bay's got a good defense. I'm really having a lot of questions about their offense. And Kansas City knows that you can't play smash mouth football against Kansas City. At least what we know about Kansas City from last year. We'll see if that carries over. They've still put up a lot of points, but any team that tried to play smash mouth football with them, lost, except for Tampa in the Super Bowl, right? They're the one exception, but I just don't think Tampa Bay can repeat that with what they have. I know Mike Evans is coming back. I know Cole Beasley's probably got the playbook down by now, or at least most plays. He'll be a factor. I like Kansas City in the bounce back week. So over for me, and taking Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm taking the over as well. I think points will be on the board there for this one. Despite Tampa's slow start on offense, I think they'll be there for this one.
Yep, so that's what we got. We picked them all, and here we go again. Week 4, starting to get some identity, starting to figure this out, right? Expect my 25% to go way up now.
Yeah, well, we hope so anyway, right? That's what we're trying to do. So this should be another competitive week, some good games. Remember to stay tuned and look for my pick 6, because this week is another one that I'm feeling pretty good about, those top 6 picks, and the other ones are really competitive. So, bet the ones you like. Don't bet the ones that you think are going to be too close to call. But still, as always, toss your hat in the ring.